Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Early Edge. We are brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. A great show for you today. We got a lot of college basketball. We've got some soccer, of course, some PGA. A lot to go over with Pogo Picks. Rainwater, Aaron Bailey is in here. Michael Johnson, Jason Herod. Thanks for being in here. Hit the like button. Let's see if we like the recap screen. I believe we go 1-2. Oh my gosh. I mean, this probably should have been 2-1. We got to learn how to box out Houston. They lose by the most narrow of margins. We lose by the hook, essentially, there. And then Larry's pick does not come through. Poor start for Texas A&M Corpus Christi. They did fight back. But we go 1-2 thanks to Mike hitting his pick. Let's bring in the stars of the show. Let's get this thing started. Again, continuing to say hi to Lou Brusco in here. We got Buckets. We got EC. We got Tom Casale. We got Jeff Hochman. I don't know where to start. EC, we have a show tonight, do we not? 7 o'clock. You host that show, right?
That I do, the early wedge, Sia, and I have the winner. You know when you just feel like you know this tournament and that you're owed one? I'm owed one. And the guy that's going to win for us this week, and I'm sure Hochman has an opinion, Patrick Cantlay is going to win.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Cantlay?
And I'll tell you what, I read Sobel's article. He's on it too, Sia. Get on board.
No, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I like Patrick Cantlay just as much as the next guy, which means not very much at all. But I think I think Rory McIlroy is going to win this tournament personally. I've got a couple of other players to discuss on the early wedge. I'm going to discuss one of them later on in the show. Buckets, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Sia. We've got the Champions League knockout stages taking place this afternoon. But quick question for you. Have you seen these? Have you seen these little CBS custom kits?
What?
Aren't those awesome?
How did you get those?
The best employees on the early edge team all got a pair sent to them. So I'm shocked that you didn't get one, I guess. But just wanted to show them.
I'm extremely jealous. Jeff Hochman, do you have a pair of those shoes?
I do not, but I do have a hat that I like to wear every day. And by the way, I saw yesterday's show, and it would have been really weird if Sia came in with a hat, right? There's no hats allowed in court.
There are no hats allowed in court. That's absolutely true. Jeff, I do want to tell everybody, because we talked a lot about, speaking of yesterday's show, everybody, I encourage you to go back around like the 23, 24-minute mark. We really got it launched into a big baseball discussion about the Dodgers and plenty of other teams. Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a college basketball play today, but you also have a couple of MLB futures relating to an AL Central team.
Yeah, I got two. I like the total on a team, and I like a team to win the division. I got some good analysis on that. So very excited. Yeah, I saw A-Mags in here yesterday, so It's time for baseball. We got to, once the Super Bowl's over, you got to switch over to baseball, start looking for some winners. We're going to do that in the futures market today, and along with my college basketball selection. I'm pumped up today.
We got Mike McClure in the chat, which I'm pumped up about. He's talking about NASCAR. I will be talking about a name he mentioned on yesterday's show. That's a little hint for an early golf bet this week for Riviera. Tom Casale, you're going to lead us off here. You're going to lead us off with a college basketball pick, and it involves Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Miami-Virginia Tech game. It opened 6.5, which was a little low, went up to 8.5, and then I thought it was that was a good number to bite on Virginia Tech. So Virginia Tech just got blown out against Florida State, but if you look at that game, they led it at halftime. The second half was one of those things you just can't, it's hard to explain. Florida State shot close to 80% from the field. Virginia Tech couldn't really make a shot, but FSU started on a 21-3 run to begin the second half. So they pulled away there. I just think Virginia Tech's a little bit better than that. And when you look at Miami, man, this is a tough spot for Miami. They won the court storming game at home against UNC. And then Saturday, they won a game they probably should have lost against NC State. A three-pointer at the end. Guy hits 3 free throws to win that game. Now they come home. Miami tends to play up and down to its competition. They let teams that they're supposed to beat stick around for a while. If you look at their home games, they've beaten teams by like 6, by 8, by 9, by 10 teams where there was a bigger spread. So I think this is a good spot for Virginia Tech. And the other thing I like, and this is why I took the 8.5 and not the 6.5, if we get to the end and Virginia Tech's in that 6 to 10 point range down, Miami only shoots 68% from the line. So if we get into the basket foul, I think we have a good chance to stay under 8.5 points if Virginia Tech's in striking range. So I'll take them plus the points tonight.
Get your college basketball questions in the chat, because not only do we have Tom, we got Jeff Hochman, we've got EC, and we've got Mike McClure in the chat. So this would be a really good time. Don't forget, we call this Talk Back Tuesday. Actually, I kind of forgot, which is why I'm only saying it right now. But we are trying to answer your questions, whether they be soccer, golf, college basketball, really anything related. We're going to answer them. And Buckets, you're going to answer the question of what are your 2 picks for Tuesday?
2 bets for Tuesday, and I'm going to rant a little bit here, so bear with me. A reminder to everyone, as if soccer was not confusing enough already, the matches we have taking place today are called ties, which means you play 2 legs in this matchup. Each team in this matchup gets to play 1 leg at home and then 1 leg in or on the road, and whoever has the most combined goals is the team that qualifies. So it's going to make some strategies different. Teams that play really well at home are going to try to run up the score. Teams that struggle on the road might try to park the bus and keep things cagey. So just a reminder, there are going to be 2 legs to these competitions. My first bet is Galatasaray taking on Juventus. We've got Turkey versus Italy here. And I'm just going to give out the bet first and foremost, which is Galatasaray draw no bet at plus 120. And here's the reasoning for this. Galatasaray play at a place called Rams Park in Istanbul. It is widely regarded as the most difficult place to play in the entirety of European football. We saw Liverpool play there earlier this season, in which they lost in the group stage. And after that matchup, Mo Salah interviewed and said, "I have never played in such a difficult atmosphere in my entire life. It was impossible to stay focused. The noise was deafening, and we just couldn't cope with it." Congrats to Galatasaray. When Galatasaray play at home, their fan base, their ultras, they don't just get loud. That's not the, defense. They get angry. They are mad. They go to war every time they play at home. They have genuine hatred for any opponent that comes to their stadium, and they make life hell for them for 90 minutes. Galatasaray need to win at home because they have to go to Turin after this, and playing at Juventus, it's kind of the opposite. They're going to struggle at Juventus, so I expect them to have a big impact in this first leg. Second bet, Borussia Dortmund taking on Atalanta. Kind of a similar situation. Dortmund's one of the best Bundesliga sides that have one of the most passionate and aggressive fan bases in all of the German Bundesliga. Dortmund so far this season have been incredible when playing at home. In 2026, they've won 4 of their last 5, and they've scored 2 or more goals now in 9 of their last 10 home competitions across all competitions. I've got Dortmund to score over 1.5 here at even money plus 100. Serhou Girassi, incredible form. Maximilian Bier, incredible form. This Dortmund side, again, is going to make life hell for Atalanta, knowing that when they have to travel to Italy, it's not going to be so easy. So, Galatasaray draw no bet, Dortmund 1.5 team total. Both bets start with the plus sign. I'm happy with that, Sia.
All right, we've got a lot of questions piling up in the chat. There's a question from Christopher Baird, who I'm just realizing has a flat tire and he's on the side of the road. But the upside, because he's a glass half full guy, he says, I get to watch the show live. So, Buckets, just so you know, I believe he asked for a flat tire on the side of the road parlay for Tuesday. So I don't know if you got time. We still got time for the show, but if you want to maybe put something together. Also, Ray Garcia wants to know, Buckets, BVB money line. Sounds like a boy band. Real Madrid game, both teams to score. I don't even know. I don't even know what that sentence means.
You're good. You're good. That's so BVB is Borussia Dortmund. That's the team we just talked about. There's no reason someone would know that without knowing, the abbreviations there. I do like Dortmund to win. I've got them winning this one, maybe 2-1, maybe even 3-1 if it gets a little bit crazy. Dortmund's defense is a little bit lackluster, but their offense is good enough. It shouldn't really matter. That's plus 120, so I think it's a great shout. Benfica versus Real Madrid, both teams to score, scares me a little bit. Benfica at home are just so damn cagey. Doesn't matter who they're playing against. They're going to play 11 men back, especially against the Real Madrid side, and just try to make this match impossible for Madrid to score. Also, I'm looking now, both teams to score is minus 200, and I don't like it if it was minus 110. So that's something I'm going to stay off there, Ray.
Let's transition to college basketball real quick before we get into even more picks. Jeff, I'm going to start with you here, see if you have an opinion on this TCU-UCF game. And then, Tom, I'm going to go to you because Believe in the chat says, how do you guys feel about UCF money line minus 130? Again, UCF hosting TCU. And I think Jen in the chat said she'd like that as well. Jeff, any thoughts on this one?
No, I got nothing on that game. See ya.
Tom?
Yeah, something seems off with UCF. That's my problem. It's like they're always this low spread at home. Everyone tells me that they like them, right? And then they lose. So I don't know. They're just not playing very well right now. It's not a team I can trust. I think the number is a little low, but I thought the last two numbers that they played at home were a little low. So that one's a pass for me. It's a tough game.
You see, I know you have college basketball, but in response to you saying can't lay and me mentioning golf as well, there's a lot of people who are making picks in the chat for this week. I have to be reminded though. So something that people that don't watch the early wedge, they probably don't know what the no bet list is. Hopefully you watch it tonight, because my question for you, see, and I legitimately forgot, so I don't know the answer to this. Was Colin Morikawa on your no bet list? He was. I figured.
That's now 2 and 5 weeks, Sia. Last year we had a pretty good run with the no bet list. I mean, I held it. I think there was one name in like 5 months, and then at the end of the year it got hit a little bit. This is a tough start to the year for the no bet list, and this week we're gonna have trouble. I mean, Matsuyama is the defending champion. I added him last week. There was a name that I almost added this week, but I'm gonna hold off. Victor Hovland, Sia. I guaranteed that I would be top 25% in the early wedge one and done, and I had Vic last week, and he stunk. So that's real close to no bet list category.
Vic feels like a mirage to me. I mean, not in general, but just like a lot of people on him early in the year, just it feels like it's a little off. Speaking of a little off, Buckets, go ahead.
Real quick, how much does a tire cost, would you guess? So I can set this parlay.
Depends on the car.
I would do $10 to win a tire is my idea for this.
Okay, so I feel like it's somewhere between like 220 and 400. Like
don't you have to buy
it could
two?
Be higher, but
don't you have to buy two at the same time?
I mean, not really. They're going to tell you that because of the tread and your alignment's going to be off. But let's just go with one for now. Let's go with like a $320 payout.
I'm just saying I can buy one off Facebook Marketplace for $8, but let's
go
for
really?
300.
Facebook Marketplace?
Let's do 300. I'll be right back.
Okay, great. Let's get to our SportsLine pick before we get to even more college basketball, more baseball, more PGA. Chip Patterson, he hit his bet on Friday. He's going with Michigan State tonight, -8.5 at -110. Again, that's our SportsLine pick, courtesy of Chip Patterson. All right, we're going to take a break, but I just noticed that Danny Brasco is in the chat as well. We got a lot going on there. Make sure you hit the like button. So much more to cover, and we'll do it right after this message from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Jeff Hochman.
Hello.
We talked a lot about MLB yesterday. We didn't talk a lot, but it was a good 5 or 6 minutes, which I don't think people were expecting. They weren't expecting AMAGs to be on the show. They are expecting some futures shows that we're going to have over the next week or so. We're going to have our live shows back during baseball. We might even do one that first big opening day. So we've been planning that out for everybody. But you've got a baseball future to talk about, and you have college basketball to talk about. So you've got the floor, my friend.
Thanks, Sia. Yeah, sometimes the sports books will throw you a gift and you got to take it. This line is just way off, in my opinion. Let's get to it. I like the Detroit Tigers this year. Over 85.5 wins. They are currently -115. I cannot believe how low this total is. And I like them to win the division. They're +120, +125. Now, last season, the Tigers won 87 games. They made it as a wild card team. They had a +67 run differential, which was the best in the division. They are better than last year. I don't think you can argue that. The rotation looks scary good. Check this out. They have Tarek Skubal. I just call him the Beast. Framber Valdez, who they signed in the offseason. Jack Flaherty. Justin Verlander, pretty good as a fourth starter. And Casey Mize. Now, Reese Olson did get hurt. He's on the 60-day IL, but that's okay. The Tigers have the fourth best farm system in all of baseball. They could just call up some guys and add them to their roster. I also like the 2 additions in the bullpen, 2 veterans, Kenley Jansen and Kyle Finnegan. Check out the lineup against right-handed pitchers. It is stacked. And oh, by the way, last year, the Tigers ranked second in OPS versus lefties. So they're going to be good against lefties once again. But when they face a right-handed pitcher, Colt Keith is leading off, Gleyber Torres, Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green, who had 36 home runs last year, career high, by the way, Spencer Torkelson, Perez in right, Zach McKinstry at shortstop. Dylan Dingler is not that the greatest name ever for a baseball player, especially if it's a home run. Dylan Dingler, he's a catcher. And oh, by the way, he won the Gold Glove last year. And Parker Meadows in center field rounds out the lineup. They were 9th in defensive runs scored saved last year. They're going to be just as good on defense as last year. And over the last 30 years, there have been 4 teams that have won their division with a negative run differential. From a full 162 game schedule. Those are the 97 Giants, the 2005 Padres, the 2007 Diamondbacks, and last year's Cleveland Guardians. Their run differential was -6, yet they still won the division. They had an expected win total of 80, which is exactly what their total is listed at this season. The only way this goes sideways is if they have a rash of injuries early, they're clearly out of the playoff picture, and they decide to trade Tarek Skubal before the trade deadline. Until that happens, this team is all in. Bringing in Framber Valdez, they are all in. They had a very successful season last year. They got a taste of winning. They want to win. They are motivated. So I really love this play. This is one of my favorite totals, and I do pretty well on these in quite some time. Detroit Tigers over 85.5 wins, -115, and play them to win the division at +125. These are 2 very, very strong bets that we will track all season long.
All right. That was such a sell that I feel like we lost our football group ride. It was the Bucs to win the NFC South, and they somehow managed to lose it. Like, against all odds, they managed to lose it. This feels like, I'm not saying this is the group ride, but we will have an MLB group ride as well. And the Tigers are certainly on the podium of candidates. But you've got a bet. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I just wanted to say I agree with Jeff that the Tigers are the best team in that division. But the bet I gave out last month is in the same division. I think the Royals at 81.5 is kind of a joke. I think that's the team that's going to be the second team in that division and push for a playoff spot. So I think those are the 2 teams that are going to separate themselves. But I do agree with Jeff that it's the Tigers division, and then the other teams are going to be fighting for second. But I only need 82 wins for mine. So I hope we both win.
It's a great call by Tom. I had in my notes that I think the Royals will be competitive. The White Sox are obviously rebuilding, and the Twins have a long way to go as well.
I'm catching up on the chat. Before you give out your college basketball pick, Jeff, I do want to mention that Mike McClure is saying he's got a couple of leans, not official plays for him. He wanted to make that very clear, but he likes the UCF and Louisville game total unders, I believe. So UCF, Louisville, he leans to the unders on those. All right, speaking of college basketball, Jeff, you've got a college basketball pick for tonight.
Yes, I do. I just had some water there, a little thirsty. All right, we're going to go with Michigan. -2.5. Now, it dropped to 1.5 for like 2 hours last night, which was a little surprising. I got -102, as you could see, at SportsLine. So Michigan is a powerhouse. I don't think I'm breaking any news here. They lead the nation in offensive efficiency, and they rank 4th in defense. Purdue has the country's 2nd best offense, but its defense is just ranked 19th. What I really like about it is their 2-point defense ranks 183rd nationally, particularly vulnerable against Michigan's elite 2-point attack, 2nd nationally. Now, Mackey Arena, very good home court, but Michigan's 59% effective field goal percentage tends to travel well. I don't think they've lost a road game all season, right? And I think that minimizes that edge. Michigan's interior defense is specifically designed to neutralize post-heavy teams like Purdue. Purdue relies on 2-point baskets 51% of the time for its offense. Purdue has a revenge game on deck against Indiana after losing to them last month, January 27th. Michigan plays Duke on Saturday. That's a little bit of a concern, but they have maintained focus all season, as shown by their win over Nebraska before they played in-state rival Michigan State. So I like Michigan -2.5 tonight.
Noticing Larry Hartstein in the chat as well. All right, we got a couple of baseball picks. We're starting to filter in these baseball picks, which I absolutely love. Tom even jumped into the fray just now. Mike McClure, obviously, in the chat to answer baseball questions as well. EC, I want to kick it to you for college basketball, but if you don't mind, let me just give out and I'm going to give out a quick analysis on my top 20 play for Riviera. And we'll obviously go into some depth. We might have a surprise on tonight's show that you don't even know about. Actually, nobody knows about. We could have a strokes gain narrative song that I'm going to give to our producer to put on the show. If everybody remembers back in the first cut days, the strokes gain narrative stuff, how we might have had a certain singer that came in. And anyway, that might be a surprise tonight. So make sure you tune into the early wedge. Matt Fitzpatrick, top 20 plus 104. Really like this number on Matt Fitzpatrick. Don't forget, this is one of those signature events where the field, I believe it's 72 players, top 50 in ties, make the cut, or anybody within 10 strokes, which might affect a handful of people. But we're probably going to have about 50 after the cut line. And so really what I'm asking Matt Fitzpatrick to do, but don't forget, this is including ties, this top 20 market, is to finish basically in the top half. And the way Matt Fitzpatrick has been playing, I don't think this is much of a stretch. I don't know that this should be a plus number. It's plus 104, including ties over at DK. In other places, it's got a minus in front of it. Mike talked about Matt Fitzpatrick yesterday. Mike and I have been talking about Matt Fitzpatrick this entire year. EC, you remember, I told you I didn't think Matt Fitzpatrick was going to just win once this year. I thought he might win twice in 2026. Love what we saw from him late last year. You might look at his history here. It wasn't very good. First of all, one thing to note, last year's histories, because somebody referenced who won last year, that was at Torrey Pines because of the fire. So do not look, when you're studying this event, do not look at last year at all. It's absolutely irrelevant. With respect to his prior 2 years, he wasn't very good, but that's when Matt Fitzpatrick was having trouble with his game. We saw last summer he really turned things around and really started putting things together, tee to green. I think he's a really good fit for this course, tee to green. Again, we'll get into more Matt Fitzpatrick later and whether I like him as an outright, perhaps in the with or without Scotty Scheffler market. But for now, Matt Fitzpatrick, T20 plus 104. Well, EC, I don't know. I know you're not as big a fan of Fitzpatrick. I believe he's on your no bet list. So you can feel free to respond. But I know you've got a couple of college basketball picks for us. And oh, by the way, there's a lot of questions we're going to answer after that.
Yeah, Sia, that's a great number on Fitzpatrick, top 20. I mean, in a small field like that. And for him he's hitting the ball really well. I think that's at anything with a plus number for a top 20 market for a guy of that caliber. No argument there. All right, let me give a couple of picks here. I got a couple of totals on the games that ironically Jeff and Tom picked. So let's roll with it. Michigan, Purdue under 156.5, and I got this at minus 105. So both these teams are pretty good defensively, as Jeff said, giving up less than 69 points a game. If Purdue's going to win this game, they got to slow the game down. They can't get into a track meet. If they do, Michigan wins, and Hochman covers that number fairly easily. Now, I went back and did a little counting here. Michigan has given up 72 or less in 20 of their last 23 games. Purdue has given up 73 or less in 18 of the last 21 games. This game, to me, feels like it's played in the low 70s. Now, I made a score prediction, and I apologize, Jeff. It's real close. Michigan 73, Purdue 71. Coin flip. I agree with you on Michigan. I would play the money line, not the minus 2.5, but that's just me. All right, then we move on to the game that Tom picked, Virginia Tech, Miami. I'm going over 150.5 at minus 110. So Miami at home is averaging 89.9 points per game. They are 11-3-1 to the over at home. And 5 of Virginia Tech's 6 ACC road games have seen totals of 150 or more points. I may buy this line down when I put together my parlays because we know that's what I do. If I have to, just to fit in that VTech stat. But you know what? I think this game flies over. And I actually like Tom to cover on the back door here. Miami 84, Virginia Tech 76.
All right, we got a final score prediction as well. You'd love to see it. Buckets, there was somebody that was asking if there's like a live bet in play, but also we've had a couple of soccer questions. Thoughts on PSG to get the win, and how much do we love Mbappe anytime goal scorer minus 110?
You okay if I do my rapid fire, knock
Let's
out
do
all the
it.
side question kind of things? Okay,
Yeah.
Thoughts on PSG to get the win? I love it, and it goes against head-to-head history. The last 5 times PSG have traveled to Monaco and played, PSG has only won a single time, but they looked so damn good against Marseille, and I've got them making a big statement match here. I went PSG both teams to score, parlayed with PSG money line. That's plus 200 because the money line itself minus 200, not the most fun line for me. Buckets, how much do we love Mbappe anytime goal score at minus 110? We love it a whole lot. M3 baller, we really do. Benfica, a tough defensive side, but this is Real Madrid in Champions League knockout stages. I've got Real Madrid winning this one kind of to a 2-0 scoreline. And then Buckets, Dortmund to qualify or advance at minus 105. What are your thoughts? For me, it's kind of determined by how much they can win this first leg by. I've got Dortmund putting up 2 or 3 goals, and if they actually do that, I think it's a very great shout because Atalanta, as good as they are, they just struggle defensively. They blow hot or cold sometime, and I think Dortmund will look to take advantage of that. Buckets, any thoughts on Bristol, Wrexham, both teams to score at -128? I love Wrexham, both teams to score generally, but this is a very scary game for me. In the English Championship, you have to finish in the top 6 to have a chance at promotion to the Premier League. Right now, Wrexham's in 8th and Bristol City's in 9th, which means this is a really critical game for 3 points. Those really critical games in the Championship, a lot of times they can be so cagey because no one wants to be the guy that makes that first mistake. This could be 0-0 in the 75th minute. It's something I'm personally staying off of because of that juice there, and I think we're good.
All right. What a pro. Buckets. Very good stuff. I'm sure there'll be another soccer question or two that trickles in before we get out of here. Let's get to some college basketball questions, though, before we get out of here. Tom, I'll go to you. And then, Jeff, let me know if you have any follow-up here. Wisconsin -1.5 at Ohio State. Do you like Casale? Big Roadie's not making that call. He's just saying the SportsLine Sims favor Ohio State a little bit. Do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been right on Ohio State all year. So, but I like Wisconsin. I think it's a good matchup for them. Usually teams with size bother Wisconsin. Ohio State doesn't really have that. So I would lean Wisconsin, but that's a tough game.
And then how about Villanova -4.5? Do we like that number? Asks Taylor. Aaron Taylor.
Well, if you sign up to SportsLine, you will see that I have a pick on that game at a different number. So, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a close game. I'll leave it at that.
Sportsline.com/join gets you all of the picks. It gets you all the articles. It gets you all the simulations, and it gets you the entire Sportsline Discord. What are we doing if we're not already there? That Discord, I'm sure, is active across several different channels as we speak. Let's go to. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got the tire parlay whenever you want to do that.
Ooh. That's good. Let me do one more college basketball. Nebraska money line over Iowa +100. Tom, any thoughts there?
Yeah, that Nebraska and Miami of Ohio are kind of in the same boat, right? Like the market can't stand either team. They're always like a 2-point favorite or an underdog. I mean, Miami of Ohio is 25-0, and they're like 2.5, 3.5 over UMass tonight. So the market is down on Nebraska. I'm not as down on them, but I don't really like this spot for them. Iowa just got annihilated at home by Purdue, which was a terrible matchup for them. And now they're coming home against a team that they match up better with. This is a really tough game. I don't have a strong opinion, but I lean Iowa at home.
Jeff, it sounded like you had an opinion on this one as well.
Yeah, I lean Iowa at home as well. I haven't been great going against Nebraska. If you remember, I had Michigan when they were -10 playing Nebraska a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I would lean to Iowa in that game. And my model does like St. Louis a little bit at -10. I'm not sure what the line is right now, but St. Louis seems a little undervalued tonight, -10.
Oh, all right. We got a little sneaky add-on there. Steve Lochner, I see your message, and so does so many other people in the chat, asking for prayers for your mom. So certainly we're sending all good vibes and prayers your way. Steve, I know you've been a part of this family for quite some time, and obviously wishing you, your family, your mom specifically, the best. It's tough to transition from those, but I did want to acknowledge it. Buckets, we are trying to get a parlay in here, so apparently you've come up with one.
I have, Steve, keeping her in thoughts and prayers here. But for the tire parlay, we are going to the chalkiest anytime goal scorer parlay across the Champions League you've ever seen. But $10 wins you 201. So not quite, I don't know what car you have, Sia, not quite the $300 bougie, whatever. My car doesn't need that. My car is fine with $85 tires. But 10 to win 100 or 201 here. We've got 4 different goal scorers, one from each of the 4 Champions League matchups. We're going with Victor Osimhen, anytime goal scorer for Galatasaray, Ousmane Dembele, anytime goal scorer for PSG, Kylian Mbappe, anytime goal scorer for Real Madrid, and Serhou Guirassy, anytime goal scorer for Borussia Dortmund. That's the tire parlay, Chris. You're welcome. Or sorry, one of the two.
I'm not a big car guy. I don't need a fancy car. I have an okay. It's fine. It's a fine car.
What do you drive?
A Kia Telluride.
I've never heard of that. Not real.
That's totally fair. Yeah, I mean, I'm no offense taken. It's a very good, solid car, but I don't need like some fancy emblem at the front of my car. That's just not for me. Fleetwood at Riviera. EC. Any thoughts there? I was on Fleetwood last week. I thought he was a slightly better course fit last week than this week. But I mean, I love Fleetwood. I don't love the number compared to some of the other guys I'm betting. Your thoughts?
I'm not betting him as an outright, but he will be one of my plays this week. 19 straight rounds in the 60s. He's a must play this week at Riviera.
He's awesome. And I'll admit, I had a huge bet on him. Like, I had like certain like bonuses I was able to take it in, and I would have won so much money. And he was so close to winning the tournament, but it never felt like he was that close, but he ended up being so close to winning the tournament.
Yeah, you and I both had him. Now I would have won a nice chunk. You would have won, probably a lot of tires for buckets and maybe a new car for buckets. Nonetheless, he's not going to win this week, but I think he'll have a good finish.
Why did I expect Sia to say my driver tells me it's a Kia today? Adam, that's funny. Tom, one last college basketball question. What are your thoughts on Miami of Ohio money line -140?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to try to predict when this team's going to lose. All right. I would lean that way tonight. I would also lean the team total over. These two just played. They played a really high scoring game. They both get up and down the court. I don't see that being any different tonight. I will say this. Someone asked me last night about if they don't win the conference tournament. I think they're in trouble. And when I say this, I don't say this isn't Tom Casale's opinion. I can't stand that. I can't stand when people tell me what they think is going to happen. Don't care who you think is going to be the third pick in the draft. Tell me who the team's going to pick. But if you look at what the selection committee and how they put teams in, the MAC is rated really weak, right? And they don't really have a great win outside of conference. So I think it's going to be interesting. I'm not saying they shouldn't be in. I'm saying that if they don't win the tournament, I think that's going to be an interesting discussion. And I will also say this. I drive a Ford Explorer only because it's right down the street from me, and I'd rather die than go shopping for a car. So I go there every 3 years, and they lease me the same thing. The best car I ever owned was a Kia by a mile. Was it close?
Yeah, Kias are actually really, really great cars, especially the Telluride. Go ahead, EC.
If Miami of Ohio were to go undefeated in the regular season and not make the tournament, it's an absolute fraud for college basketball. It's just wrong. With that said, Miami I think they will go undefeated in the regular season. I think they will obviously make the tournament, and they will be an easy pick to fade in the second round, if not the first.
The first. Yeah, you can start in the first.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't wait for March Madness. I mean, we're not that far from conference championship season, right, Tom and Jeff? I mean, what are we, like 3 weeks away?
Yeah, no, it's coming up.
Amazing.
Let me just see real quick though where they have let me just see if I can find.
While you're looking that up, Jen wants to know if my huge bet on Fleetwood last week was an intentional bet or an accidental huge bet like I had on Bridgman a few weeks back. It was intentional, but we have been talking about on the early wedge, EC, if you recall, like our favorite Fat Fingers bet of the week. We need to figure out what the parameters are of that, but I think that's a really fun idea that we can incorporate into the early wedge and maybe the early edge as well. Tom, what you got?
So this is what the committee looks at, okay? And I'm just telling you what they're going to do. Ken Pom has the MAC, which is really down this year, rated below the CAA and the Big Sky. So if Montana was undefeated and lost in their conference tournament, do they go to the Big Dance? They don't, right? So that's my only argument for people who, if they lose, that's going to be one heck of a discussion because they're either going to be one of the last teams in or one of the last teams out, but Miami won't be a lock to get in.
But see, that's the problem with college basketball, Tom, is
right.
When the regular season means nothing. I mean,
I agree.
your season comes down to three games in the conference tournament, which is terrible. Get rid of these stupid conference tournaments.
I agree. No, I agree. I'm just saying, get ready for what the committee is going to do is all I'm saying.
I get it. Yeah.
All right. I think can we post Buckets parlay? I think we actually have that now. We're going to have that on the recap screen. Buckets. Oh, here we go. No, it's right here. Buckets tire parlay. Oh gosh, you're doing it, Buckets. For the audio listeners, one more time.
Victor Osimhen, anytime goal scorer. Parlayed with Ousmane Dembele, anytime goal scorer. Parlayed with Kylian Mbappe, anytime goal scorer. Parlayed with Serhou Girassi, anytime goal scorer.
Did you do that just so I would fumble over every single name?
Those are the easiest names I could have picked for their respective
That's
teams.
impossible.
I'm sorry.
That is such a lie.
Impossible.
That is such a lie. All right, let's get to the recap screen and get everybody out of here on Talk Back Tuesday. Genesis Invitational. More picks coming at 7 o'clock tonight on this SportsLine YouTube channel. It'll be EC hosting and giving out analysis, of course. It'll be me. It'll be Jason Sobel and Patrick McDonald. My first play is Matt Fitzpatrick T20 at plus 104. That includes ties, folks. So that's a pretty big deal. Galatasaray draw no bet plus 120. That one from Buckets, of course. Dortmund versus Atalanta with a player's play. Dortmund over 1.5 team total plus 100. Virginia Tech plus 8.5 minus 110 from Tom Casale. Then more college basketball. Michigan Purdue under 156.5 minus 105 from EC, and Virginia Tech Miami over 150.5 minus 110 also from EC. One more college basketball, actually two more because we got the SportsLine pick, but Michigan minus 2.5 minus 102. That one courtesy of Jeff Hochman, and he is all in on the Detroit Tigers over 85.5 wins at minus 115, and the Tigers to win the AL Central at plus 125. Our SportsLine pick courtesy of BPE Friday's very own Chip Patterson. Michigan State minus 8.5 at minus 110. Danny Brasco appreciating the Atlanta reference. I was hoping somebody got that. Buckets, go ahead.
Before we go, I dropped 2 names in the private chat I would like for you to try to read because that's who I could have bet to score today, and I decided to spare you. So just wanted to throw that out there.
So the names are Kavicha, Kavada Shakira, Abdul Karim Bakhtarachi.
Okay. See, it could always be worse. That was just a reminder to everyone out there.
What are those names? Can you pronounce them?
That was the worst.
For everybody?
Khavicha Khvatskelia and Abel Karim Bardak.
What?
Now you're just being evil and rude, and Wink. I don't appreciate it. All right. High-level Jermaine Dupri reference, says Danny Brasco. All right. Special K. Hey, the cereal bracket is later this week, everybody. Speaking of Special K, Thursday, 8 o'clock. If you want to know more about that, let me know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. Great Talk Back Tuesday. Great energy from the chat. We had Brasco in the chat. Larry Hartstein, Mike McClure was in the chat. But all of you, Ryan Fingers, Cleveland Clown, Achilles, Sox Nation, Jen. Sorry, I'm leaving out so many different names, but I'm just kind of looking at what I see on the screen right now. Adam G8 in here. Tom, Jeff, EC, John, apparently, aka Buckets, in on the show, and of course Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. We'll see you at 7 o'clock tonight, maybe a couple surprises on that early wedge show. Otherwise, we'll see you right back here tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Make sure you're subscribed to the SportsLine YouTube channel. Make sure your friends are subscribed. We'll see you tomorrow. We rest our case.